Hi everyone, this is Dr. Chhoda and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. I'm going to talk to you about two different realities in this video, two different versions of the truth. And I want you to be patient with me. I want you to watch the video all the way through to the end and then tell me whether you agree or disagree. I believe there are two different versions of reality for us in the country. I'm not trying to convince you whether your version of reality is right or wrong. That is not what this video is about. This video is to shine a light on the fact that there are two different truths for different individuals in this country. Now, the vote tally as far as the popular votes are concerned across the country at the time I'm recording this video is 47.5% for President Trump and 50.9% for President-elect Biden. So President Trump got 72,325,191 votes and President-elect Biden got 77,508,652 votes. Now, who is the individual who's got the most number of votes ever, popular votes in the history of the country? That's Joe Biden. Who's the next individual? President Trump. So we have a country where well over 72 million people support President Trump and well over 77 million people support President-elect Joe Biden. That is why I'm talking about two different versions of reality, two different versions of the truth. I actually ran a poll on our channel simply asking, do you believe President Trump won the election? And I intentionally asked the question that way because I wanted to keep it really simple. I didn't want to ask, hey, do you believe there's been fraud? There's been, some shenanigans. I didn't want to position it that way. I just wanted to ask what you believed. And if you see the results of that poll on your screen and thousands of people have voted, and I encourage you to vote as well, you'll see how divided we are. You'll see how our opinions differ and why I say there are two different versions of reality. There are two different truths. I'll give you a couple of examples. So let's say you're pro-Trump, okay? You're pro-Trump and you have what I call reality one. And then on the other side, let's say you're pro-Biden and you have reality two. So if you're pro-Trump, you'll say, look, this is the highest popular vote count ever for a US president. And you would be correct. Okay. So if you're pro-Trump, you say this is the highest popular vote count ever for a US president. But if you're pro-Biden, you say, Biden got several million more votes. So let's analyze this again. If you're pro-Trump, you will say that, this was the most number of popular votes ever for a sitting US president. And if you're pro-Biden, you would say this is the most number of popular votes ever for anyone. So you can see how both sides would essentially have their own point of view. Now again, this video is not about what is right or what is wrong. This video is about trying to help our viewers and subscribers understand that there are two fundamentally different points of view and there are essentially two versions of the truth is what I'm trying to say. Let's get to the next point. If you're a pro-Trump supporter, you believe that there was widespread cheating, or you believe that there was some degree of cheating, there was enough to be able to potentially reverse the results of the election. Again, I'm not saying that every Trump supporter is like that, but I'm saying that, there seems to be an initiative from the administration to propagate this narrative. And if you're a Trump supporter, you probably believe that based on the narrative, based on your support for President Trump. Again, I want to be clear. Please don't blame the messenger. We've done a lot of research to try and present this to you, and you can decide, and hopefully this will help you understand the divisiveness that exists today. Now, if you're a pro-Biden supporter, you believe that there was no cheating, or you believe that there was negligible cheating. Yeah, dead people voted, and yes, there's probably a couple of hundred votes that were counted that shouldn't have, but no way can it be tens of thousands of votes. That's going to be your view. If you're a pro-Biden supporter, you believe this was a fair election, you believe this was a democratic election, you believe that this was, this shouldn't be questioned. What's all the fuss about? Why are we all freaking out? That's what you believe as a pro-Biden supporter. If you're a Trump supporter, then, this is pretty obvious. You support President Trump. But the reason I say this is because many individuals actually voted for Biden because they disliked President Trump. Now, keep in mind, President Trump is the kind of individual who elicits strong emotions on both sides. President Trump is not the kind of president where you go, he's okay. It's just like any other politician, whatever. That's not President Trump. So if you dislike President Trump, or if you prefer Biden for his set of policies, whatever the case might be, then you're on the other side. So again, this is two different versions of the truth because there are such strong emotions involved, specifically around a candidate as polarizing as President Trump. Now, here's the next thing. There actually are a different set of priorities for voters of President Trump versus voters of Joe Biden. The priorities are different. For one side, climate change is a higher priority, racial disparity is a higher priority. For another side, the economy is a higher priority, abortion and birth rights are a higher priority. So this is a fascinating sort of situation where there are essentially two different sets of priorities for two different types of voters in the country. I'll get into a little bit more research about this in another video where I examine some data from the Pew Research Center. I think it's going to blow your mind when you see the different priorities for different sets of individuals. You could be living in your house and have, one set of priorities, and your neighbor across the street could have a completely different set of priorities. This is why I call this video the two versions of the truth, essentially the two realities of America. Let's take a look at the next point. If you're a supporter of President Trump, you're generally likely to prefer more conservative content. Fox News, apparently it seems a lot of people are now flocking to Newsmax and other sources, whatever conservative sources there may be, whatever you like to consume. So generally, supporters of President Trump prefer conservative news sources. That's just the way it is. But on the other hand, if you're a pro-Biden supporter, you prefer more liberal news sources, CNN, MSNBC, and channels like that. So that is essentially what you tend to consume. So in other words, what we consume, the news content we consume, is different depending on your version of the reality that you choose to live. And also here's another interesting thing. I believe that pro-Trump supporters see things a certain way, and I believe pro-Biden supporters see things a certain way. I'll give you one example. A judge in Pennsylvania provided a victory to the Trump administration in terms of some ballots that should not be counted in Pennsylvania. Now, this applied to a couple of hundred votes. Here's the interesting thing. If you're a Trump supporter, you'll say, aha, look at that. That's the tip of the iceberg. That's the beginning of, a big controversy. That's going to be the beginning of the overturning of tens of thousands of votes. But if you're somewhere on the other side, you'll say, hey, wait a minute. It's a couple of hundred votes. Biden is leading by 50,000 votes. There's no chance that this could lead to an overturning of tens of thousands of votes. It's probably happening, but there's no chance it's going to lead to an overturning of tens of thousands of votes in multiple states. Now, this isn't about who's right and who's wrong. I just want to be very clear about that. This is about our different interpretations, our different perceptions of the truth. Here's the final thing, and this is a question mark. In fact, this is the conundrum that we face, that we live in as a country. If you're a Trump supporter, is your mind made up? And the answer to that question is, I don't know. If you're a pro-Biden supporter, is your mind made up? The answer to that question is, I don't know. This is something that you have to decide. This is not for me to decide. Now, here's the interesting thing. We as human beings have a phenomenon called confirmation bias. And I want you to track with me very carefully here, because what I'm about to say is very, very important. Confirmation bias is a phenomenon by which we as human beings only choose to consume content or listen to the point of view that reinforces our own beliefs. There is nothing wrong with this. I'm just telling you the way things are. So if you believe a person is bad, you'll reinforce whatever information you get and believe that that person is bad or worse. If you believe someone is good, you'll be like, well, that person just, I don't know, just hurt someone. I'm sure that person had a reason. So we all have what's called as confirmation bias, where we consume information. We choose, what information we choose to consume, because it's our right who we listen to, right? But we consume information that essentially reinforces our own beliefs. And whether that information reinforces the correct belief or the incorrect belief, that is something you have to decide. It's not my place to decide that. But here's the interesting thing. When your own beliefs are reinforced, there are certain situations where your beliefs could be wrong, and you may choose to avoid that reality. You may choose to live in your own bubble, if you will, and simply choose to say, hey, I'm not going to let my beliefs be challenged because that is my belief structure. If I challenge my own belief structure, I'm challenging my own sense of reality. I'm admitting that I was wrong. And let's be clear, nobody likes to admit that they were wrong. Or I should say, most people don't like to admit that they were wrong. Many of us do want the correct type of information so we can change our point of view. But there are many of us who don't want that. And again, this isn't about right or wrong. Please don't blame the messenger. This is about pointing out a fundamental psychological reality that we want to believe what we want to believe, and we want to neglect, even criticize, even demonize what we don't want to believe. That is just the reality of the world we live in. Let me know what you thought of this video. I'll dig a little deeper into the Trump voter versus the Biden voter, so you actually see a difference in the priorities in the next few videos on our channel. I hope this was beneficial. Let's show you the table again on your screen, which shows you the differences between Trump supporters and Biden supporters. If you're pro-Trump, you'll say, hey, the president had the most popular votes ever. If you're a pro-Biden supporter, you'll say President-elect Biden had the most votes ever, even more than President Trump. If you're a pro-Trump supporter, you do believe there's widespread cheating generally, and you believe that that has the potential to overturn the results of the election. I mean, just look at the results of the poll on our channel. By the way, that poll is not indicative just of our channel. That poll is indicative of the country. Okay, I saw a couple of comments saying, oh, you have more Biden supporters or Trump. This isn't about that. For me, my channel is about truth and honesty and about having respect for my audience. I honestly don't care. I actually don't care whether you're a Trump supporter or a Biden supporter. Okay, it doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is I give you the news, I give you facts, and you decide for yourself. And I hope that you think I'm doing a decent job at that. So if you're a pro-Trump supporter, you think there's widespread cheating. If you're a pro-Biden supporter, you think there's no cheating, negligible cheating. If you're a pro-Trump supporter, obviously you support President Trump, in some cases passionately, because President Trump is a polarizing figure. We can all agree about that. And if you're a pro-Biden supporter, you have an intense dislike for President Trump, probably coupled with a preference for Joe Biden and his policies, which makes you vote for Joe Biden. If you're a Trump supporter, you actually have a different set of priorities that govern why you vote, how you vote, where you see the country heading. And I'll cover that in another video. There are certain priorities for Trump supporters that for example, in general, Pew Research found that Trump supporters don't care about climate change. They don't care about certain things that the Biden supporters care about. They care about the economy. And Biden supporters care more about climate change, care more about racial inequality than other things. Pretty fascinating where our country is. And like I said, if you're a pro-Biden supporter, you have a different set of priorities. Now, if you're a Trump supporter, you generally consume conservative content. If you're a Biden supporter, you generally consume liberal content. If you're a Trump supporter, you see things a certain way. I gave you the example of those votes, the judge in Pennsylvania. I'll give you another example. If Kayleigh McEnany, the White House press secretary, who also, by the way, is another polarizing figure, she's not scared to say what she has to say. If she's criticized, you're like, no, that won't work because she's allowed to say what she wants. But if you're a Biden supporter, you're like, what's wrong with her? How can she say what she's saying? How can the US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo say what he's saying? How can Peter Navarro say what he's saying? So it's a different lens of looking at the world. And finally, the biggest question is, are our minds made up? And I do believe for the most part, our minds are made up. That's not because we're stubborn. That's just because we have two different realities. I hope you learned something new from this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And this was our own analysis. This was my own opinion. Let me again know what you think in the comment section below. And I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts. And please share this video with friends and family. Maybe you can share this video with a neighbor down the street and you guys can, maybe you haven't been talking to each other because of your political preferences or a family member. You're like, how could you be a Biden supporter? How could you be a Trump supporter? But when you understand the other person's version of reality, the fact that their truth is different, I believe that hopefully you might not have them over for Thanksgiving, but hopefully you'll at least be able to chat on the phone again and have a laugh together. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. That was a rather interesting piece of news. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Also, you'll find a link to all our resources in the description section below, so definitely check them out. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda. Thank you so much for watching. If you don't know anything about me, please check out my video. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. We release videos at 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week. That's 2 p.m. East Coast time. You can get on our SMS list if you want alerts from us. Get your cell phone out, send a text message with the word ignition or with the word time to 70,000. That's 70000. You'll get added to our SMS alerts list. You can opt out of the list at any point in time that you want. You can also get added to our email list. Simply go to ignitiontime.com/alerts. That's ignitiontime.com/alerts. You'll agree to a quick disclaimer, and then you'll be on our email list. You can opt out of the SMSs or the emails at any point in time that you want. Now, keep in mind, YouTube does not always send out notifications on time. That's technology for you. So all you have to do is simply bookmark youtube.com/ignitiontime. That's youtube.com/ignitiontime. This way you can visit the homepage of our channel and you can check out our videos at any point in time that you want. Speaking of notifications, you can actually follow us on Instagram. Simply follow us at ignition_time. That's our Instagram handle. and you'll be on our Instagram followers list, and you'll get exclusive content on Instagram. You can also follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is ignition_time. That's ignition_time, the same handle as the Instagram handle. And you can get breaking news and alerts from us on Twitter. I really look forward to engaging with you on Twitter. Now, if you learned something new from this video, please consider sharing this video with friends and family. That is your vote of confidence in us. Please click the like button. Please ignite that subscribe button, and please ignite that notification button so you can get alerts. Remember, the name of our channel is Ignition Time. One more time, you'll find the links to all our resources in the description section below. Please comment below and participate in our growing community because, our community is growing, and you are an important part of our growing community, because for us, it's about coming together. It's about being rational. It's about being objective and being respectful of both points of view. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.